Here's a step-by-step video tutorial on our sewing pattern. It will be linked down below in case you're interested. Check it out. You'll be getting two files. The first one is the pattern instructions, where I give you guys the printing settings, how to tape and assemble the pattern pieces, and then I also give you guys the size chart. Okay, now let's go on to the second file, which is the pattern itself. And I always recommend that you print out the first page. That way we can double check that you printed it out correctly. And we're going to do the test square, so it has to measure 2 inches by 2 inches or 5 centimeters by 5 centimeters. And if it does, go ahead and print out the rest of the pattern. Now, another thing is it has like a dotted border. And this is really important because, again, if you go back to the pattern instructions, where I give you guys a picture guide, we're going to be connecting everything on the dotted line. So from A1 all the way to A5, and then we're going to go down to B1 all the way to B5. So that's how we're going to tape them in order. Assembling the ears, I give you guys 3 different styles. For this video, I'm going to be working on style A, but we're going to make it the same way for B and C. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to quickly do is pin right sides together, and we're going to sew 1/4 seam allowance from one corner all the way to the other corner. So once you're done sewing, now we're going to clip the corners. That way when we flip it on the right side, it'll be easier to turn. Another thing is, for the ears, to give it more shape, we're going to be using flex foam. It's one of my favorite materials that I like to use. You're welcome to use other things like wire, batting, whatever you feel comfortable with. But I love flex foam. You could get that on your local Joann store or Amazon. I'll link mine down below, but I'm going to quickly trace it, cut, and then put in the inside of the ears. Now let's get started on the hood. You're going to be cutting out the hood side 4 pieces and then the hood front 2 pieces. Just keep in mind we're going to be making the lining as well. That's how you have a lot of pieces. But for right now, you're only going to need 1 out of the hood front and then 2 out of the hood side. Okay, and then we're also going to need the ears. Okay, so we're going to place the ears on the hood side 1/2 inch away from the outer edge of the seam, and we're going to pin. If you guys want to stitch it beforehand, go ahead, but I'm just going to pin everything together. So right sides together, the side, the ears, and then the hood front, kind of like a sandwich. And we're going to be sewing 1/2 inch seam allowance. This is what it should look like so far, and now we're going to repeat the same step to the other side of the hood. Okay, so we're going to again pin the ears 1/2 inch away from the outer edge, and then pin the side with the ears onto the right side of the front hood. This is how your hood should be looking so far with the ears, the side, and the front already sewn. Now let's get the final piece, which is the hood back. You need to cut two, but for right now we're only going to be using one piece, and we're going to be pinning right sides together from the very top all the way down to the bottom of the hood, and we're going to be sewing 1/2 inch seam allowance. And lastly, we're going to sew it on the other side as well, right sides together, 1/2 inch seam allowance. And this is how your head should look like so far. Let me quickly flip it right side so I can show you guys how it looks. And then after that, let's start working on the lining. So if you guys have noticed, we had extra pieces left over. Basically, you have to sew the hood again, but obviously without the ears this time. And this is our lining. Let me quickly show you with the right side. Okay, so now it's time to connect the lining with the main hood, and we're going to do this by placing them both with the right side fabric side, and then we're going to pin and connect in the front hole. Now we're going to flip it right side and push the lining inside the hood like how I'm doing it right now. And we're going to do a top stitch all around if you want to. If not, you could skip it if you think your fabric's too bulky. We could move on to the next step. Okay, so to finish the bottom hem, first try on the hood, see how it feels. If you need to cut it a little bit, go ahead. But after that, we're going to fold in both the lining and the main fabric 1/2 inch inward, and we're going to pin and sew a 1/4 hem. This is how it turned out, and now the final last thing that we're gonna do is add the little pom-poms on the ears, and we have to hand sew these. I guess if you want to hot glue them on top, go ahead, but I'm gonna quickly hand sew them onto the ears. And we're pretty much done with this video. Thank you for coming along. If you have any questions, message me. I'll link the pattern down below if you guys want to check out my Etsy store. It'll be linked in the video description. And yeah, this hat was actually for a customer. So the last thing I ended up doing, at least for me, was I added a little skull patch on top. I'll also have the patches in my store if you guys are interested. So yeah, I'll see you guys on the next video.